I should be like you, Mel.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all Cherries fans, and welcome to this Monday episode of Cherry AM. Do hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell button below to follow everything we do here at the Cherries in all departments. And this morning, next to me, I have Sean. How are you doing, Sean?
Yeah, not too bad. Good weekend, titles in our hands, and women top the table as well. So, yeah.
Well, I've got to bring up something with you because last week you turned round and said about Justin Kluivert and that maybe he needs to go out on loan. What's the next bad take, Sean? Because I tell you what, I'm going to add them to my accumulator for next week, just because I think they might score.
Well,
as well.
I would say that I think Kluivert does have the quality in that, but I was worried about the amount of competition he's got. To me, the jury's still out forever. Jury's still out forever for me. But again, he ain't got competition up front really. But there's so many.
He should have had a penalty against Fulham. You know, when Diop actually stood on the back of his heels. And that was a penalty all day long for me.
Well, I did a similar thing with Semenyo a while ago on that, when he was having a goal drought for a while, and that was like, he's starting to get a bit, not getting his chances and that, and then he scored the next game. So it's fine. It's all opinions and that. So
yeah, exactly. I think Justin Kluivert has proved you wrong on all that. So yeah, let's go through the comments. We have got Paul Sant in the house. Good morning, everyone, says Paul. Good morning, Paul. Hope you're doing well. A couple of weeks ago, I said that I thought Semenyo was the best player to play for AFCB since being in the Prem. Well, he, in my eyes, is Mark Pugh times 10, the best ever for AFCB in the Prem. Oh, that's a bit of a difficult take. I tell you what, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that because Mark is an absolute legend. Malcolm Chiverton says, good morning, Cherries fans. Good morning, Malcolm.
Morning.
Hope you're doing well, mate. Chris has said good morning to Malcolm. Paul Santa said good morning to Malcolm. Malcolm said good morning to Chris. And said hello, good morning to Paul. David DeCosta has said good morning to everyone. And good morning, David. Hope you're doing well. Hi, David. VAR this morning. Yeah, I'll admit it was me. It was me. I woke up a little bit too late, to be fair. But yeah, my error. Chris Hubble has said, how are you, Mel? And then Malcolm said, I'm okay, thanks, Chris. Do you know what? All you need to know is when I'm on and then just think, well, the show starts in about 3 minutes' time because Ollie's always prompt, Malcolm's always prompt, Matt's always prompt. So if I'm on, Yeah.
Have a little bit of an extra sleep in.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Hubble said, "Oh, that good. I am good too." Liam Humby, there we are. Hope you're doing well. Liam, good morning, everyone. Up the cherries. Need to change that profile picture, Liam, because you are the owner of the first AFC Bournemouth home shirt this season. So we need a profile picture in the new one, I think. Are you kidding, mate? Are you kidding? Chris Hubble said morning to Liam. Dana said morning, Craig and Sean. What a Cherries weekend. Justin Kluivert, what a player. There we are. You wanted him to go out on loan, Sean. Oh, we'll let you off. I'm gonna keep. Do you know what? I'm gonna keep ribbing you about that one. Also, also Semenyo, top Bournemouth goal scorer. Bournemouth on a European tour next season. You heard it here first. I'll tell you what, I'll ask you a quick question now, Sean.
Yeah.
Is Semenyo better than Dango now?
Yeah. I said before that
Bosh.
Semenyo has a higher ceiling than Dango, but it was a case of instead of just keep taking lots of shots, whether he calms down, takes his time with the shots, and actually gets them in, and that's what he's done. So, I say the thing that I said for him to get to the top level, he's done this season. So, yeah, he's surpassed him now.
Bosh. There we are. And that is that. There we go. Good morning to Chris, says Liam Humby. And Chris said morning back to Liam. And then big thumbs up. So there we are. There we are. A little bit of banter this morning. It was it was a great win. Absolutely chucked it down, didn't it?
Yeah, I got a little bit wet on the walk back and there, so
Just a little bit. I got bloody drenched. I was absolutely soaked. I had the heater on full blast when I got back in the car. But what game it was! And I tell you what, I just want to touch on that first goal as well. Semenyo, that how did he get it in from that acute angle?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, as I said, out of the 3 goals, I said that's the pick for me easily. I mean, you get past a few people on that, and it was such a tight angle. I mean, it was literally an string through a needle, whatever the phrase is. Shot he had to do to get it, and that's what I'm saying. That last season he probably would have hit the net or stuff like that, but he's really learned to be more composed, take his time when needed, and take the shot was more powerful. And yeah, so
I think he's just quality. I think he's quality all over. And Malcolm said here, it's not all about taking shots. There's more to playing football than that. I think, yeah, definitely. It's the strength, it's the hold up play, it's how he brings other players in, cutting in the inside. He's one of those players that can play on either wing. You play him on the opposite side, he'll cut inside, he'll make it really awkward. One thing
I
I
might.
noticed.
I was going to say, Andoni might disagree with that. I swear I've seen him plenty of times on interviews saying, as long as we're getting shots, then he's happy. So,
That's
Andoni might
getting
disagree with that.
Chris Hubble has said that he agrees with Malcolm. But the thing is Fulham at the very start of the game were playing very, very narrow. I did notice that when they lined up, it was all through the middle. And we had to go wide. And I think, Semenyo and Brooksy did fantastically well. Did absolutely fantastically well. You know, breaking down, the Fulham back line. Um, it was unfortunate, when we went behind, but I was never worried. I was never concerned. Malcolm makes a good point here. Don't forget that you're defending as well. So Menu does get stuck in it, and it was for a period of time a bit grotty in places. What I mean by grotty is we had to really, really fight to actually get a foothold in the game. Both teams were there battling. I think Fulham are a good team. I think Fulham are a very, very good team, and we've beaten another very good team in Fulham. But I think, we never panicked. We never feared. We made the right changes. There was some changes that you thought, that seems a bit odd, but they were the right changes for the side, and it showed. And I think Justin Kluivert was one of those, that was so instrumental in turning that game around. Paul Santa said that first goal was Ronaldo-esque. Do you know what? I think Ronaldo would have been very, very, very proud with that. Either
Mm.
Cristiano or the Brazilian one. Either of them would have been, very, very proud with that goal. It was absolutely outstanding after all. I just want to go back to this comment because a couple of weeks ago I thought Semenyo was the best player to play for AFCB since being in the Prem. Well, he, in my eyes, is Mark Pugh times 10, the best ever for AFCB in the Prem. Now, is he the most talented? I'd probably say yes, but define best. Is this the best, player overall, or is this the best player, to have an impact at this club? If we're talking about impact at this club, what Mark Pugh did for this club, I don't think anybody, regardless of how good they are, unless we win the Premier League. If we win the Premier League, then we can turn around and say, well, I think Semenyo's probably beaten Mark Pugh at that point. But in all honesty, what Mark Pugh did, getting us through those leagues, is something else. And he continuously improved himself and continuously got better and better and better and better. So Mark Pugh sticks with me as the best player in that position to play for AFC Bournemouth on a level of the impact he had throughout the years. If we're talking about talent and quality, then Semenyo is of course going to beat him. But Mark is without a shadow of a doubt the most impactful. Would you agree with that, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you mean by best. I say Pew came up through the leagues, and even though we was tilted for relegation first season in the Premier League, he was still ripping up the Premier League and that. And yeah, Semenyo has a better quality and all that kind of stuff, but different times, different styles of play and that. So it's hard to compare different players. But I used to love Daniels and Pugh together and that down the wings, and that brings back great memories and that. So yeah, I think we're just enjoying different levels of quality, different things, and long may it continue.
100%, 100%. Fair assessments made on Cherry Slaps. What a fantastic show it was as well last night. Thank you so much for that. Really, really enjoyable. Watching it back. Sorry, I wasn't able to come on myself. Fulham were unlucky with their injuries and having no recognised striker. They battled hard. Yep, Fulham are struggling in the striking department. Again, like us, they have goals from elsewhere on the pitch. And I was quite impressed by them, you know, even though I say that we are a better side overall. I think Fulham are a very, very good team, and another very good team that we've beaten. Brighton, I think, are a very good team. We beat them. It's started to become a case of we shouldn't fear absolutely anybody in the top flight. And years ago, you would look at the, let's say, in Eddie Howe's time, throughout the 5 years, in all honesty, you looked at the fixture list and you went, "Oh, yeah, this game, I don't fancy this one. Looks quite difficult." I even remember us having a game against Watford, and I was like, they're playing really, really well at the moment. They just seem, yeah, don't fancy it. And how times have shifted that we think, I'm going into that Palace game. Palace are playing really, really well. Okay, we've got the international break in the meantime. Hopefully, that's not going to really impact, the trajectory. But I'm going into that Palace game and I'm thinking, you know what? I've got absolutely zero to fear, even though they're on fire. Um, they've just been beaten by Everton away. I wanted to inflict their first defeat on them. I think Everton's new ground is going to be a fortress, to be perfectly honest, which is that's going to be a challenging place to go. But I'm going into that game with no fear. I'm definitely going into the Forest game with zero fear. I think we'll beat Forest all day long, playing there as we are. But
Yeah,
I'm just hoping we come back after the international break. just in this same vein of form. Don't panic when we go 1-0 down. Just carry on. We did it against Leeds. We equalised in the last few minutes. What an achievement that was to get a point up there in the end, when I thought Leeds were very, very good. So this team don't know when they're beaten, and that's the great thing. And that's what, even when you look at what Leicester did all those years ago, they didn't have it all their own way. But what they did do was they battled back. So yeah, I think, there's that side of things to look at as well. Let's just go to the next comment. Darren Hurster said, "Hi, Craig, Sean, and all the regulars in the chat. What an amazing time to be a Cherry supporter." Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. It's unbelievable. It really is.
Oh, I just thought of a question, and people can answer in the chat. So you're saying about Pew. I say the Daniels Pew combo. Obviously, we haven't had that kind of really strong two on the wing for quite a while, because obviously Semenyo and Brooks swapped sides and that. So there's always Pew and Daniels was the same two. Who's our strongest wingers? Well, two on the side currently out of all the players we've got. If you could just say, okay, you're going to have these two on the side, one left back or right back, and then vice versa, which one would be the current Pew Daniels combo?
That is quite interesting. That is quite interesting. I think Semenyo, linked up very well with Kirkes last season. He linked up very well with Smudge, of course. They know each other very, very well. Yeah, I don't think there's really a fixed. There's not been anything fixed, was there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no fixed anymore, which is just a change of style in that. But if you had to choose two on the side, either side, which would you choose? I was looking at the game, and to be honest, when Doak and Jimenez worked together, I thought they had a nice combo down the side as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm just going to go through some more of the comments as well. Do ping it in the comment section as well. Who you think our best partnership is at this moment in time. Of course, I mentioned Kirkes. Kirkes no longer here. Smudge is injured, so probably leave him out. But yeah, do let us know what your thoughts. Malcolm said, "Morning to Darren. Hope you're doing well, Darren." And so's Chris. Darren said he's a bit tired. He was on Cherry Slaps last night. Of course, that was 2 a.m. his time. So what an effort that is. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
I
for
can do
jumping on,
2 in the
Darren.
morning.
No, to be honest, it's a time I never really see. Andoni has a super sub, the kitchen sink. Yes, yes. And I tell you what, we didn't. To be honest, though, I didn't feel that we were under any real threat during that game. I think it was all very well composed. I think, as soon as we went 1-0 down, I even turned around to Matt and I said, I'm not worried. Not worried at this moment in time. You know, get to 80 minutes at 1-0 down or get to, 85 minutes at 1-0 down, you can start to doubt and think, we might not come back today. But Andoni always seems to make the substitutions. He's getting the players in the right place. He knows exactly what to do. And of course, fantastic result in the end. So I don't think he really had to throw the kitchen sink. I think he just eased ourselves back into the game. And, the superiority actually paid off. Don't get me wrong, Fulham are a very good side, but, man to a man, he worked out what was the best combination to thwart them. Darren Hurst said heard he makes a good linesman as well.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
Yeah. And regarding Pugh and Daniels, it is a different era. Yeah, I agree with that. Agree with that completely. But yeah, an absolutely fantastic result. Justin Kluivert, what a strike, unbelievable. And Ben Gannon Doak, the Scottish wizard, managed to tee one up for Semenyo as well at the end, which I think he deserved, didn't he?
Yeah, I say I'm getting Doak because he needs to get more minutes. I really like him. I mean, he's unbelievably fast. He's got brilliant trickery. Obviously, when he came on the Brentford game, I don't think he quite knew the style and that. But he was taken out. He got a bit of training behind him, and now he knows the style. And yeah, I think he can, as an impact sub, absolutely brilliant. But I think he can do a bit more than an impact sub at the moment. But we'll have to see because there's plenty of competition.
Well, Malcolm said, brilliant move taking Senesi off and going all in. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out the lineup by the end of it.
Well, we went into a more attacking pose. Of course, went 3 at the back. As soon as we got ourselves ahead, brought on Milosakovic, and then, it opened that up because Fulham were coming at us. They had to come at us to try and get the equaliser. We broke really quickly, and Gannon Doak, that great cross into Semenyo, and Semenyo's not going to miss from there. Let's be fair. He's going to take that all day long. But yeah, a very, very, very good result against Fulham. Of course, go watch Cherry Slaps. Please, please, please do. Absolute great show and great show by the guy. So go watch that as well after this show. And do go and watch my interview with Christopher Gard as well. Somebody who has over 60 years of experience in the entertainment industry. Incredibly interesting, person and an actor. Also works in theatre as well as music, as well as an artist. Honestly, really, really, really pleasure to talk to him. He worked with the likes of Elizabeth Taylor, Liam Neeson. Has worked under directors as well, like Ralph Bakshi, some real, real, real big names there. But I tell you what, let's come on to some news that is actually in the Manchester Evening News. And I know that a lot of people don't like us to talk about Andoni going anywhere else. I don't think he'll go anywhere else, in all honesty, but seeing as Manchester Evening News are making a big deal about it again. They're saying, and it is an opinion piece, that they shouldn't bring in Glasner, they should bring in Andoni Iraola, and supposedly it's piqued his attention. Now, I don't know why they think it's piqued his attention, because Manchester United are, put nicely, shite, and we're doing pretty well. I think this is just made up garbage by the Manchester Evening News. Would you agree, Sean?
Yeah, I don't see Andoni going to Man U. I mean, yeah, they're a big club and that, but how many managers have they had now? It's just never seems to work, no matter who they seem to bring in. As brilliant as Andoni is, to be honest, I don't see him even fixing Man U. I mean, it's just absolute disaster zone up there. And to be honest, I mean, if we get Europe or certainly around that kind of area and that, I think he can aim higher than Man U, which shows how good Andoni is. I'll say you don't know what's going to happen with Man City. I mean, if they're not in title contender, they've already lost a few games this season, so they could be looking for a manager at the end of the season. You never know. And that's so, yeah, I think there's some better clubs, put it that way, that could be in for Andoni, and then it's going to be a case of what he wants to do because he'll have the pick of the bunch.
I honestly don't think that Pep would actually get sacked by Man City. I think what he would do is he would probably walk. He probably would walk. But I can't see Andoni. He's not going to show any interest in going anywhere until the end of the season. I think he sees a project here. He wants to continue that project. I'm sure that he will be determined to get us into European football, and once he's got us into European football, to go through with that. Like last season, and like I said at the end of last season, I think it will determine how much this side has been pulled apart. If we keep our core squad together, which Bill Foley did, we knew that Housen was going to go. We knew that Kirkers was going to go. We didn't really know much about Zabania going, but he went in the end because of PSG. But as long as we keep the core of the squad together, why is Andoni Iraola going to throw that all away to go to a club like Manchester United? Who, yeah, don't get me wrong, are still, as it stands, one of the biggest clubs in the world. But at the end of the day, it's one of the most toxic clubs in the world. I'm just going to come back to the comments here. And Darren Hurst has said, how many would be brave to put the 3 least experienced in the new defensive lineup and bang on attackers? Got to be in it to win it, as they say. Wouldn't want to play Andoni at poker. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. RSWC, welcome to the podcast. Please hit the like and subscribe and the bell button if you haven't already. Andoni will see out his contract, I'm sure, but unless we qualify for Europe, I can see him leaving in the summer, which would be a huge shame, but understandable. I think that he will stay. I think we will get Europe this time round.
Yeah, I think we need Europe for him to stay.
Considering how consistent we seem to be at this moment in time, and yeah, it could all fall apart, I think we'll get Europe. I think we just need to keep ourselves, just keep going, just keep pressing on. I don't think we need to worry about, I know that there's always this talk, and, we've talked about it in previous seasons, let's get to 38 points before we can actually push forward. We're not going to get relegated this season. There is no concern about that at all. We might as well just look up and have a go and see where we finish, because there is no way we're going to fall and plummet down the league. Teams have done in the past, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they had the quality that we've got. Malcolm actually used the word that I used just a minute ago. I didn't see this comment. I honestly, hand on heart, I did not see this comment before you wrote it, Malcolm. Man United are a toxic club. Andoni won't manage another Premier League club. I think that second part is, in my honest opinion, I think that might be a little bit far-fetched. I think if there's one club in this country that Andoni Iraola might end up going to in the long run, I think Arsenal is that team. Of course, Mikel Arteta, similar sort of football. I think that Arteta isn't probably getting the best out of those group of players. So Andoni Iraola might be somebody that they would look at. However, I think, like Malcolm says here, Bill's 5-year plan, Andoni is part of that. I think that Andoni will see that out, and I think he'll probably do a little bit more as well, because he does enjoy it here. He likes it here. Semenyo loves it here. There's all sorts of rumours that flooded about Semenyo, but he signed that new contract with those rumours circling around. So, honestly, I would take this Manchester United stuff with a pinch of salt. I just think it's absolute. It is. As Carl Pilkington said here,
bullshit.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Darren Hurst has said Andoni has reported football to him. Sorry, I'm going to re-say that. Andoni has reported football to him is more than a game. He loves living in Bournemouth and has stated the only interest he has is happy wife, happy life. Motto. If his wife had enough and wanted to return to Spain, he would only leave then. It's the best area of the country to live. Let's be perfectly honest. Who wants to go to Manchester? Paul Santa said, I think Andoni will stay. He's buying into the project. Got a strong feeling we will hear something soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, but we shall see. We're the biggest club in Dorset. What else does Andoni need? Yeah, exactly. And there is too much noise outside the AFCB bubble.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the whole league is, you don't know who's going to be top, who's going to be where. It's absolutely crazy at the moment. And something I found funny at the weekend and that, I was listening, I think it's TalkSport or whatever, stuff like that, and Chelsea fans were going absolutely nuts over beating Liverpool. I didn't know Chelsea were like a League Two team. There was a massive scalp. I mean, Chelsea at home losing to me, they seem like they was a League Two team that's beat a massive. Yeah, I was like,
wow,
you really going nuts? Like, oh, suddenly we're gonna turn around and win the league. It's like you were Europe. Was it Europa or Champions League? I'm not sure what they are this season.
Yeah.
But top thing, won the title before and all that, and you're acting like it's amazing that you managed to do something.
Well, exactly. But Manchester Evening News, you are not in Europe, Manchester United fans. You are put nicely crap. You've stuck with Amorim for too long. And about Andoni going to Manchester United, this is what we think from one of your own supporters.
Bullshit.
There we are.
Bullshit.
Had to play it twice. Just to make sure they got it all right. There we go. If we beat Liverpool, I'd be pretty excited about it, let alone Chelsea. Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. But, hey, I'll tell you what, let's move on because, the Manchester Evening News, do print some.
Bullshit.
You love that, don't you?
I do love that. It's just the button that I can press. If you come out with that Justin Kluivert thing again, I will press it again.
Bullshit.
But I tell you what, tell us about the ladies and how well they did.
Yeah, it was a really tough game. They played Lewis. They started all right in that, but they went 1-0 down just before half time. A brilliant counter by Lewis. And to be honest, they could have easily gone 2-0 at half time. But we fought back like the men, and who was it? I got the stuff. Wait a sec. There we are. I've got to make sure I'm on the right page. So, yeah, Markham scored a brilliant shot from outside the box. And then on the 88th minute, I think it was, from a free kick, Hennessy scored a brilliant header. If anybody wants to see the goals, I post them whenever I can on Up the Cherries Facebook group, so they're all on there and that. And yeah, so we won 2-1, means we're still top of the league. It also means Markham is joint now with Sophie with 9 goals this season.
Mm-hmm.
And the next game though is going to be Plymouth, which is going to be certainly a tricky game because Plymouth are currently the top scorers in the league. And when Plymouth played Lewis, they won 4-0. Plymouth did. So yeah, it's going to be it's an away trip. If anyone does want to go, I believe it's at the actual Plymouth Stadium. Under 14s are free and adults are £5. So yeah, it's a good weekend.
Well, if you want a rainy night in Plymouth or a rainy Sunday in Plymouth, get yourself down there. Plymouth's a lovely town, actually. It really is.
Yeah, I might go. I'm not sure yet. I'll see it.
Yeah, it's a long old way though.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's way of doing transport there. See if there's any interest in it. I had a quick message from a coach company. I just done 10 people in there, and I think it was like several £100. So
yeah,
that's not the way. So I'll have to see if my license allows it, and then maybe try to sort something out. But we'll see. I don't know why the Bournemouth don't do even it's like a minibus or something for a away trip to the ladies' games, especially with them going up the leagues. But hopefully, further down the line, they'll eventually do something.
Most definitely. Darren Hurst has just made a comment. He said, "I have never heard so much bullshit on a show." There we are. And just for you, Darren.
Bullshit.
He's too tempted. How many times have I done that? I love Carl Pilkington. Believe it or not, a local resident. I haven't seen him about, to be honest. Because I tell you what, that would just be folly as anything to get Carl Pilkington on this show. Can you imagine an interview with Carl Pilkington?
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. You get plenty of famous people on, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. Carl, if you're watching, we've had the Kaiser Chiefs, we've had Kasabian, we've had David Icke, we've had Richie Neville from Five, we've had Hard5, Blue Tones, Dodgy, Ocean Colour Scene, Happy Mondays. Come join them. Omid Jalili, Professor Brian Cox. Who else do you want? Of course, Harry as well. He probably knows Harry. So yeah, and Malcolm's having a laugh about it. There we are. Well, I think,
Oh,
to be honest, we're. Oh,
I
go
just
on,
thought
Sean.
something that actually people could comment on. Because I noticed with the Crystal Palace, obviously last season we had 0-0s, both home and away, I believe.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think, it's a record, I'm sure we won't do a record, but what's the most consecutive 0-0s against the same team in the Premier League? Because I say we're on 2.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't imagine there'll be much more. And I had a quick search, but to find that specific record, I just couldn't do it.
Between
So if
two teams in
anyone,
the Premier League.
pardon?
Between 2 teams in the Premier League, not just
Yeah,
ourselves.
between the 2 same teams in the Premier League getting 0-0s consecutive, even 2 I wasn't that easy to find. So would that be a record of getting 3 0-0s in a row or not?
It's going to be something like Fulham v Brentford, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I can find. So if anyone in the
No, it's
comments
not. No,
could do a little bit of research, find that out, and put in, and then that's a little thing to do on the preview show to know that stat.
There we are. I don't think that. I'm trying to think. But yeah, of course, Fulham beat Brentford 3-1 this season. I did think it would be a game like that. Might have to go back a little bit further, actually.
Mm.
To teams maybe that aren't even in the Premier League now. But I guess that kind of ruins the whole thing, doesn't it? Yeah. But there we are. And Chris has put smiley faces, look, and then says Malcolm. There we are. Well, I think that's all we've got time for in today's show. Sean, pleasure to have you with me again. I just want to know. I want to know who needs to go out on loan.
Wow, ever.
Just for so Evan Nielsen to score against Palace. Then, guys, get your bets on ever against Palace. Yeah.
I'm always happy to be proved wrong.
Exactly. I'm only pulling your leg, but also do make sure that you do this for us as well. We've got a week to go, and there it is.
Up the Cherries in all departments has been nominated for the best club content creator for the Premier League. To vote, visit the link on screen. We thank you in advance for your support, and up the Cherries.
There you go. There you are. Go vote for us. Go vote for us twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 10 times if you really want to, 20 times. Pass it around your workmates. I'm gonna get everybody to do it. So yeah, make sure that you do too. But yes, Malcolm says, see you tomorrow, everyone. Darren's put his bet on already. Bloody hell, he's straight in there. Evan Nielsen to score.
Well, I hope I get a percentage,
And you're saying he needs to go out on loan as well. That might be a double.
We ain't got backup, so no, I'm not quite safe alone for him.
Okay, he's going to score anyway. But thank you everybody for joining us. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell button below. We'll see you in the next show tomorrow morning. Thank you. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.
Up the Cherries in all departments has been nominated for the Best Club Content Creator for the Premier League. To vote, visit the link on screen. We thank you in advance for your support, and up the Cherries.
Bullshit.